The interest in the electric mobility segment has just gone up a notch in India, be it two-wheelers, three-wheelers, or even four-wheelers. The number of newer and fresher products arriving on our shores is a sign of better things to come.
While existing car makers have started making a noise in the electric vehicle segment, there are newer players as well that want to carve a space for themselves in this segment. And the newest one is the BYD Atto 3. It is a premium offering with a quirky interior with ADAS functionalities and a very expressive design. We have the car with us today in Chennai and we will tell you everything there is to know about the car. But before we do that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you are always notified with Car and Bike's work.
BYD, or Build Your Dreams, is not a new name in the automotive space. But in India, it is a relatively lesser known brand, having only one other car, reserved exclusively for the commercial vehicle space. So that's where the Atto 3 comes in. Like any other contemporary electric SUV, the Atto 3 also has similar styling elements.
Now let's start with the design of the Atto 3. The design and the styling is very simple. It's not your typical electric car, but it is also not that boring. You get a nice chrome strip at the front with the BYD lettering on top of it. But what we would have liked is probably a black strip instead of this chrome. That could have given a lot more appeal, a lot more zing to the front section of the car. Now you get LED headlamps on the side. It has a very nice and neat design. It looks very appealing, very sexy. And further down below, you obviously get this nice black element to the air dams. Moving to the side, you get these black arches, which also denotes the SUV appeal that the company is going for with the car. I really like the design on the alloy wheels. It looks very sexy, it's very appealing, and on the road, it does make a mark for itself. Now moving further down, looking at the profile, it's not too appealing. It's a very standard looking, typical EV. But what I really like is the scale element that you get on the C pillar. Looks very good, gives a nice contrast to the red and the black color that you get on the overall appeal of the car. You also get a nice chrome strip on the belt line, which looks really nice. Probably on the door handles, I would have liked a dual tone color. Probably a black door handle would have slightly looked better. Now, let's move to the rear section of the car. And it is completely opposite of what you look at the front, because there is a lot more character. There is a lot more styling, a lot more detailing that has gone into it. Obviously, you get a wraparound tail lamps with LED treatment and a nice chrome strip. You also get Build Your Dreams lettering on the boot, but I would have probably preferred if they would have gone with BYD instead of the entire lettering. Obviously, because it's an EV, you get an EV badging, and you get the Atto 3 lettering on the rear section as well. Overall, when you look at it, the car looks really sexy. It looks very appealing.
BYD hasn't gone all out with its design. Not too flamboyant, but does enough to roll heads. The story is vastly different though on the inside.
Now the interior of the Atto 3 is much more expansive than the exterior. There's lots of elements, lots happening inside the cabin of the car. So let's start with the instrument panel. It's a very small unit, but it has a very nice and clear display of all the information, all the useful information that you would require while driving. The steering wheel has a very nice firm grip. It has a leather wrapping with a nice stitching of orange color, which looks very cool. It looks very nice, and it has that premium quality that a car of this price would command. Further down, if you look at the mounted controls, you get ADAS functionalities on one side and your usual volume and menu functionalities on the other side. But the centerpiece, the party piece of the Atto 3 is this. It has both vertical and horizontal scapes, so you can adjust it according to your preference, and even the interface is not that bad. It's quite smooth. It's quite ergonomical as well, as in you can reach the functions while driving as well, and it does not deter you or distract you while driving. It has a lot of functions, but we haven't got the time to check it out. We will bring an individual video on this, but 3 features that this system is missing is inbuilt navigation, Apple CarPlay, and Android Auto, which the car maker tells us that will come into this once the car reaches the dealership. So they will update it. Obviously, it's not with us right now, so we won't be able to tell you how it looks, but we've been promised that it will come to the cars once they reach dealerships. Further down, you get this nice ring type, like a dumbbell kind of a design given to the air-con vents. It looks really nice. It looks very quirky and cool. Further down, you get a nice wireless charging pad, and further down below, you get a nice setting for the gear lever and different kind of functions that are very useful. Now, speaking of storage space, you get 2 cubby holes here. You get a nice storage space at the side as well, and a lot of space in the center storage system. So you can easily fit a water bottle in here, as well as some other minor stuff. Talking about the cabin, you get a nice crease on the dashboard. The dual tone works for us. Probably some buyers won't find it that appealing, but for us it does look quite nice. It has a very good design given to it and looks very modern, very contemporary.
There's also a huge storage cutaway underneath the console itself, which houses power outlets and a USB connector. At 2720mm, the Atto 3 sits on a much superior wheelbase and is even longer than its rivals by a healthy margin. But what it means is a spacious cabin, especially for the passengers at the back.
Now, the rear seat of the Atto 3 is quite comfortable. It's quite roomy, as you can see. There's ample amount of knee room. There's decent amount of headroom, but that's okay. Even for longer journeys, the soft foam that's given to the seat is quite comfortable. It doesn't feel too much hectic, or it's not even hard. So there's good amount of lumbar support. There's decent, more than decent actually, under thigh support as well. And the best part is that you can have 3 persons sitting behind, because even the middle seat gets a seat belt of its own. But the only problem is that the middle seat will be predominantly occupied by a child, because an adult won't feel comfortable sitting here because there's not enough space for the legs. Talking of features, you obviously get the same kind of door knobs that doubles up as your music speakers. So that's quite quirky. That looks really nice. You also get a nice storage space here. And features wise, you get 2 sockets over here to charge your phone, and obviously air-con vents. Apart from that, to give that roomy, to give that airy feel, you have a massive panoramic sunroof, which obviously is a treat to look at, especially during night.
Boot space also is generous, with 440 liters that can be extended to 1340 liters with the second row down. We were also impressed with Atto 3's comprehensive safety package. 7 airbags, seatbelt reminder for both front and rear, a 360-degree camera giving complete view of your surrounding, and auto hold all help in keeping you firmly secured. BYD even claims that its steel chassis is designed in such a way that it keeps the passengers away from any external danger. That, coupled with several level 2 advanced driver assistance systems or ADAS functions, make the Atto 3 one of the safest EVs out there in the market. A 5-star Euro NCAP rating adds more weight to this claim. Till now, the Atto 3 managed to impress us at every step. The only thing left to sample was the drive itself. But Atto 3 likes to do things in its own unique way. Even accessing the car is tech-based. We spent a large chunk of our drive time on the highway as we left the city well before rush hour. The nice and scenic route of NH49 towards Mahabalipuram gave us enough time to understand the driving mannerisms of the Atto 3. The 60.48 kilowatt-hour battery uses BYD's cobalt-free lithium iron phosphate chemistry and blade form. This allows the car to travel a WLTP rated 420 kilometers and ARAI rated 521 kilometers between charges. The Type 2 CCS charging port juices up the Atto 3 from 10 to 80% in about an hour. A wallbox charger does the same for up to 10 hours. The Atto 3 is a highly lucrative prospect on paper, but does that reflect on its ride and handling?
The acceleration on the Atto 3 is brisk if not rapid, and it cruises quite well over long distances, especially on the highway. And even if you require power, the car has enough in it to take you out of any tricky situations. The ride quality is decent, but the only caveat is that we did not get to spend a lot of our time in broken roads or even undulations to tell you exactly how it feels. But over on highways, the car rides pretty well.
Surely it's balanced over both axles, turns with poise into corners, and is comfortable and confidence-inspiring. To make things interesting, you get different driving modes, as well as the option to alter the feedback from the steering.
So the car comes with 3 drive modes. There's Eco, there's Normal, and there's the Sport mode, which can be toggled from the switch on the center console. So Eco is pretty okay. It's quite comfortable for longer journeys. If you want to conserve the battery, then Eco is the one that you should probably drive in. But if you need a little bit of more power, a little bit of more urgency, then just switch to the Normal mode and you will get a bit of more power. You can feel it once you put the pedal to the metal. But speaking of that, if you want more power, then just switch to the Sport mode and the car just glides in. But if you're expecting the Atto 3 to be a performance SUV, then we would like to report that it's not one, because although BYD says it is, we would rather position it as a family SUV because it has a good balance between performance and comfort.
The 2 levels of brake regeneration, although even on the high level, is quite conservative. The ride too could have been improved with a better set of tires rather than the Atlas Batman A51s, because these feel like they can't deal with the amount of torque produced by the motor. Despite all its flaws, the Atto 3 has a balanced and comfortable ride with the appropriate power to get the job done. To sum things up, the BYD Atto 3 is an honest effort from the global EV maker, and several aspects of the car help it become a very lucrative purchase. At a sticker price of 33,90,000 rupees, the Atto 3 is surely a premium offering, but has enough in its arsenal compared to the MG ZS EV and even the Hyundai Kona Electric. The price tag of the Atto 3 is not appealing because, well, it's more expensive than the other 2 EVs we mentioned above. But there's just more on offer than its rivals in terms of functionality, practicality, and safety.